In this video, we are going to cover two things. Number one, I wanted to share with you the equipment that it is that I use for all things soldering for my drone and RC gear. It's nothing really fancy, but I've been using it for years and it's been pretty successful for me. So if you're on the market and you're wondering what other people are using, take a look at my stuff, see what you think. Second, I wanted to show you my technique for doing EC3 connectors. Now, I use these for everything from my lipos to my speed controllers to my battery extensions. So I figured what I would do is share with you my technique. First and foremost, get yourself a helping hand with a soldering holder. Mine came with two adjustable arms that hold my work in position and a nice weighted base with sponge. While it does come with a sponge, over time they'll wear out, so I cut replacements from older scouring pads that I've used. You can usually get 2, maybe 3 sponges out of an old or new scouring pad. I recently upped my game, so to speak, to a Weller 25-watt standard duty soldering iron from Home Depot with a pointed tip. It's cheap and this has worked out really well for me. I especially like the built-in LED lights. This really helps light up what it is I'm working on, which is super nice. Here's my brass wool soldering tip cleaner. I use this to help keep my soldering tip clean. You just simply dab the iron into the wool and move it around a bit. Using wool to clean your tip also keeps the tip hot versus a sponge, which as you use it can cool the tip down. I also have on hand a container of tinning flux. Now, I only use this when I'm cleaning and tinning the soldering iron. If you've not used your soldering iron in a while or have a new one that needs tinning, I use the flux, but I don't clean and flux the tip every time that I solder. I use your standard silver rosin core solder available at any hardware or electronics store like a Micro Center. Now, they say this eliminates the need for flux, but I have a small bottle of liquid rosin flux because I found that a little bit really helps for heating the surfaces better, gives greater solder adhesion, and creates a stronger join with the wire and the EC3 connectors. Rosin core solder works really well, but sometimes you just need a little help, but that's just me. Here's my ever-present handy-dandy wire cutter, an essential. A tool I highly recommend purchasing is a small wire stripper. The one I have is a 2-in-1 from Hobbico. It will strip the wire up to 10 gauge and cut wire up to 16 gauge. However, it's not the best for cutting, I'll be honest. So I tend to lean on my wire cutter. However, this thing works like a charm for 90% of my wire stripping needs. I use lead-free tinning flux when it comes time to clean or re-tin my iron. If you've not used your iron for a while and it looks like a hot mess or you have a new iron, now is the time to clean and tin the tip. I use a cotton swab to apply the flux to a cold soldering iron and I make sure that I get an even coat. Set the iron down and turn it on and then let the flux melt. Stay clear of the smoke, and if you have a fan or cross breeze, take advantage of it. Wipe off the flux and then over the wet sponge, begin melting solder to the tip. You're going to use a lot of solder, but this will give you a good, even coat. During this process, use the sponge or the brass wool to wipe off the excess solder until you get a nice silver tip. Before we go any further, I want to point out that my soldering was done on a brushless speed controller and was not done on a LiPo battery. If you're going to do soldering with EC3 connectors on LiPo batteries, you're going to need to pick up some electrical tape. You're going to have 2 leads that are going to be exposed at any point in time, and you need to make sure that you're insulating them from each other. So just simply take your tape, put it on one, wrap it around, keep yourself safe, and insulate at least one, if not both, before you get to the point where you put them into the connector. I always double check my approach and parts before I begin soldering. In this example, I'm going to be soldering male leads to a speed control that will then connect to female leads from a LiPo battery. So I'm checking my solder leads and the blue connector to ensure that it's all matching up. Long ago, I decided to standardize my LiPo battery leads to the EC3 female connections, which is just a personal preference. Here's the old T connector that I'm removing and switching over to an EC3. So I'm just going to snip it off. Make sure that you double check that you've cut the wires at equal lengths. I've messed this up in the past and it was super annoying to fix. When soldering EC3 connectors, you don't need to strip too much of the wire. You need only a small amount because you want to ensure that the wire's insulation is even with the top of each lead. I'll take each lead before I tin and prep it, and then check to make sure that I have the correct depth. I prep each stripped wire with a small dab of rosin. I feel this helps the solder to melt and flow more evenly throughout the wire braiding when I tin them. Heat the wire and touch the solder to the wire. Don't apply the solder to the iron itself. When you're done with one lead, wipe the soldering iron clean and repeat. Sometimes I find I need to touch the solder right next to the tip of the iron on the wire to get the melting process started. Here's where the helping hands come in super handy. I clamp my EC3 leads into place and add 1 drop of rosin to help with heat transfer across the lead and to help bolster solder adhesion. Keep the iron held against the lead to ensure the solder stays molten. Then grab your wire, saddle it in the lead, wait a hot second, and you're done. The last part of the process is snapping the leads into the connector. You'll need a small flathead or Phillips screwdriver in order to wedge the tip into the lead and lock it into place in the EC3 connector. The connectors are labeled, so be sure to double check and ensure that you are locking the positive lead into the positive slot and the negative lead into the negative slot. Listen to hear the lead lock or pop into place inside the connector. And you're done. I hope you learned a little something. I know I did in the process of making the video that made me a better solderer, if that's a word. I'm not 100% sure. Either way, I learned a lot in the process of doing this for you. Thank you very much for watching. Till next time, everyone, we will see you around.